Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today I will be going over the comments you left on my video last week. But before we do that, I have an announcement. I recently reached 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and to celebrate, I'm hosting a live stream event right here on YouTube. Saturday, I'll be on a majority of the day playing games with everybody. We'll play New Leaf, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and more. It starts at 9 a.m. Pacific Time or 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is Saturday the 26th. I can't wait to see you all there. So, last week, I was overwhelmed by the amount of comments we got on this video. Thank you all for your ideas. I came up with some categories to keep them organized, and I'm going to highlight some of the things that you all came up with. I wish I could go through them all because there were so many great things that you all commented, but this video would literally be over an hour long if I did that. So please join me during the live stream, and I'll be able to chat with you all about your comments. They were seriously too good, and I feel bad having to skip over some of them, but like I said, it would be too long otherwise. So let's go ahead and get started, and the first topic is food. Evan Walsh and Mim talked about being able to cook in the next Animal Crossing game. Mim even went to mention farming in the game as well. Evan said, "I'd love some sort of cooking system that would let you make all sorts of foods that you could give to your animals or have for yourself. There could be a little restaurant in the town as well, and where you could learn new recipes by ordering the food." So yeah, there's some cool ideas here with like kind of having some new types of shops around the town that we saw kind of pop up in Happy Home Designer, but we haven't seen in a real mainline game, and a restaurant would really be something new. I'd be interested to see that. Mim said, "I know it goes into the territory of many other relaxing getaway games, but I'd love to farm." This goes along well with Evan Walsh's comment, as we could farm various vegetables and use them to cook. Assuming the map will be much larger, a farm could fit in well. So yeah, this kind of bounces off his idea where if we're making food, we might as well kind of grow the things that we're making food with. Like, I guess growing food wouldn't be a new thing for Animal Crossing. Technically, we make orchards with all of our fruit trees and everything, so there are already ingredients that exist. And I've always wanted to see berries and things pop up on bushes, and I don't know, maybe be able to plant some vines up your house, and that grows some things too. So I don't know, I think there are a lot of really good opportunities with the landscaping in Animal Crossing to add that sort of feature. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. This next category is towns and shops, and Grizzly Nina said, "I think it'd be super cool if KK had his own music store. Don't worry, he can still DJ in the basements at night and hold acoustic nights on Saturdays. Instruments and KK records would be solely sold in his shop, similar to how all plants and saplings were moved to Leaf's gardening shop in New Leaf." And I love this. As soon as I read this, well, Grizzly Nina's part of the Discord, and she kind of like drew pictures of everything. So the first time I saw this was her picture of this idea, and I was like, this is honestly perfect. I go into music shops and DVD stores and that sort of thing. It totally gave me that kind of vibes, kind of like a multimedia type of store. And so I would love to see KK Slider have that kind of role, because it also makes him like more accessible, somebody that we can see a little bit more often than just, you know, those nightly shows where he's DJ KK and you can't really go and hang out with him. He's just, you know, he's rocking for you. And then you do get to talk to him a little bit more on Saturday nights when he's playing acoustic, but still, it's not enough KK, and I think we just need more interaction with him. Mario SL said, "I want to see a Japanese festival on the days of the Japan exclusive holidays so all players can get the exclusive items." And I think this is really cool, especially thinking of like all the different regions, like say North America or Europe. They all have their kind of unique things going on certain times, because the games are made kind of to fit their own lives, you know? So it'd be cool if everybody across the world got that same kind of festival going on. And so I guess some of them would overlap and be on the same day and such. So it'd be cool to see like different festivals mixing as well. But I love that, and I think it'd be nice to make it easier for everybody to get every single Animal Crossing item, because there's so many that you miss just because it's region specific, and you have to go and find somebody who's like gotten a bunch of extras and can trade them to people. So the next category is updates to the public works projects, and Emily B said, I really like your idea about expanding the public works projects. To add on, I think it would be better if they also changed the way in which public works are suggested to you. In my New Leaf town, I remember how long it took me to get the police station. I walked around town for weeks hoping that one of my villagers would suggest it to me. I also noticed how many other projects there were from seeing other players' towns on YouTube videos that I never had access to because no one suggested it to me. Perhaps in the Switch game, Isabel could send you, the mayor, assuming that this role is still yours, a letter every week or two saying that she has received new suggestions for public works projects. So this one goes on. Oh, actually, I guess I'm at the end of it. And you should stop by to check them out. Okay, so I think this is a cool new thing. Like, I think the police station was specifically a really big problem for people, and they were always wondering when they were going to get it suggested. And it was really just random. And having kind of, I guess, just a letter that sends out to you every week or so that just ensures that you get something new, I think that would really help the progression because, I don't know, the current system, it's really dependent on you keeping up with your villagers and everything. And after a while, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but after a while, the villagers start to repeat things. You don't want to interact with them as much, and so you gradually just decline on your interaction, and in turn, you just get less public works projects. So I think it'd be cool to see that. I think that'd be a good fix for a lot of players. So the next topic is new weather and world features. Hannah Fleming said, I want constellations back. I loved Celeste in Wild World. I want to make my own and get to see them at night. And yeah, this is something that was introduced in Wild World. They kept running through in City Folk. It got taken out in New Leaf, unfortunately. But you can create your own constellations in your world, and they would show up at certain times of year. I think that was really cool about it, where you could set up your night sky and then just throughout the year start to see what you created way back when. And so that it was just really fun doing that. I think that's a great idea. The constellations are nice, and it gives Celeste a little bit more meaning in the game. I know she runs the upstairs in the museum currently in New Leaf, but that's not enough for her. She needs to be up in even further upstairs where you can see the observatory and that sort of thing. Nancho said, I'd like to have the option to choose between northern or southern hemisphere seasons. For some of us living in the southern hemisphere, playing the game in January in the middle of summer while our towns are covered in snow feels really weird. Having that option to configure such feature could make it a bit more realistic in that aspect. And this is a really great point. I always think about like people in Australia, people in South America, people in that southern half who are essentially in the summer, but their games are in the winter season. And I don't know, I think it needs to take into account that not just time zones are different for people, also their weather patterns are different just because they're in a different part of the world. So I would love to see this feature. I think it's a very good point, and I want to be able to visit people in Australia who are, you know, it's summertime for them, it's winter for me, and we could really expand what we could be exchanging with other players. So it's a really cool idea. The next category is homes and decor. So Beth Kitty 123 says, I need to be able to choose where a villager's house is placed when they first move in. Like, Isabel tells us someone new is moving in, and we need to choose a good place for them to settle down their home. That and like a locking system would be nice. To lock in villagers we love, add permanent, we love to add permanent residents. Though this idea is far-fetched, as villagers moving is an encouragement to continue to play as to not lose the ones you love, but it would be helpful. So yeah, this is a really good point. I think a lot of people really struggle with villagers moving in. I know I've had villagers move directly in front of my house, right next to my house, where I just planted a perfect fruit tree. And then they just take it out. And yeah, I don't think that's acceptable for people. Like, you want that space around your house to be able to decorate whatever you like. So having some sort of way to have established residential area where people can move in. I always thought it'd be nice if a public works project was actually, I guess in past games, villagers would move in where there was a sign. It'd be nice if you could place a sign where villagers could move in, and then, if they move out, the sign just pops up again, and that's where the next villager is going to come. So yeah, I think it'd be cool, and it'd be nice to be able to move those too. Shadowzone 1996 says, I'm a simple guy. I want the ability to hang villagers' pictures on my wall, and I cannot believe this is not a feature yet. We get our portrait, we get villager pictures, and then all we can really do is like place them on a table, place them on a counter, place them on the floor, place them on something. They have to be on something. But we need to just be able to hang them up on the walls. It would give us more space to put more of those portraits because, once you've played the game for a long time, you have a lot of those to go through, and you run out of space to put them. So I agree. We need more ways to hang up those pictures. The next category is customizing your character, and Smack says, I would like to see a new item in the form of some sort of MP3 player. Basically, just something that lets you listen to any of the KK songs that you've collected. Kind of like how Odyssey lets you listen to any track. I'm not sure how it would work, but it would be neat if you didn't like the track that goes with a certain hour. And this, I hadn't heard this idea before, but it is amazing to have your own MP3 player, and you can just pick the song. I think at first I would always just listen to the hourly music for sure because I want to hear it. I want to get into the zone of that, but it would be nice if just like later in the game you just happen to get like a CD player, a MP3 player, whatever you want, a portable record player since KK Slider sells records, but anything that would I guess play that music for you, and you can just kind of choose what track you want to listen to. I think that gives people a little bit more control. It feels like like your own life where you can walk around with your headphones in and you're just listening to whatever you want. So Anna, your mom says, more hair options, like maybe longer hair, and getting to choose our skin color. And then Nintendo Zelda says, wigs. I want crazy wigs for my character. And so both of these are like focused around the hair and being able to change your character in some way and choosing skin color. I definitely want to be able to choose my skin color because, I've got darker skin. I want to be able to have my character look like me, essentially. Like when I play Animal Crossing, I play as who I would be as like a video game character. And the hair options is big with that. Like there are not enough hair options to really satisfy all the different types of hairstyles that people have. And even if they go around it by doing wigs, like there are already wigs in the game, adding that sort of thing would just let us bring more life to our characters, make it feel more unique, make it feel more like you, which is a lot of what people are trying to do. But of course, there are also people who are trying to be like more escapist with the game and trying to be something completely different than they already are. So yeah, I love these types of options. And the next category is clothing and furniture. Katsushi says new clothes and furniture sets would be awesome too. I feel like there hasn't been many significant changes to the furniture sets in a while, and same thing with the clothes. Hopefully they add things like different types of coats, and it would be cute to have an animation in winter that your character is freezing if you aren't wearing warm clothes. And this is really cool. Recently in Pocket Camp, they've been adding kind of new coats and new longer coat styles, so it would be really cool to see that type of clothing make an appearance in the next game. And then talking about like furniture updates, like I'd say there are series, like I think the classic series in Animal Crossing Population Growing for the GameCube has some different items that got swapped out later in later games. And yeah, we haven't seen a lot of that. Like it'd be fun to see maybe some of those old items that we had return and kind of make their way back into a series. But it's also cool to see them expand. They tend to add new furniture and clothes in each game, so I'm excited to see what they'll do with that. So I feel confident that you'll get your wish. The next one is villagers, and Wolfie567 says, I'd love more villager interactions, more personalities, more conversations, and just more ways to interact with villagers. And this is the comment I said we were going to get to. Villagers, after you've spoken to them for a while, you start to see a lot of the same dialogue, a lot of the things you've already seen them say, and it just gets less interesting talking to your villagers. And so I totally agree. We need a lot more growth in their personalities. We need a lot more conversations that we can have with them. I don't know. It takes a lot of writing to pull that off, of course, and I'm sure a lot of what's delaying this Animal Crossing game from releasing is really part of that. Like, the localization of the game is such a big task to translate every single line of dialogue, every single item, every single word in the game, which Animal Crossing has a lot of. And I expect this game to release worldwide simultaneously, so we're all getting the game at the same time, and it's got to be packed in with all of that dialogue and everything. So hopefully they've had enough time to really build those personalities and give us more, I guess, more that we can say to villagers. The next category is jobs. Tom Shepard says, I would love it if you weren't forced into being mayor, but had the option to be a citizen or the mayor, as well as have new professions like a shopkeeper or a farmer. The shopkeeper could own a shop or work at an existing one, and the farmer could grow crops in their front backyard or even unlock an allotment. Yeah, so one of the cool things that could happen in this game is that we could play different roles. Happy Home Designer played with that completely. They said, you know what, you're not the mayor in this game, you're actually a designer, and you're helping little animals have the home of their dreams. You're decorating their place to make it perfect. And so I think it'd be really cool to, I guess, expand that. Like, we already got jobs at the coffee shop with Brewster. We've got Happy Home Designer, like I said. We've had the mayor kind of duty. But it'd be nice to see more new things. And it'd be nice to see, like, villagers pick up jobs, too. Like, how are they not working and living? I don't know. I don't really understand the economy of Animal Crossing. It works differently than any economy. So anyways, yeah, I'd love to see different jobs for our characters. And yeah, Helios says, I feel like they should integrate Happy Home Designer features in this new main series game. You could have Isabelle asking you to renovate some buildings which are abandoned at the start of the game. Maybe some shop owners could ask you as well. This is what I like about this idea is that it starts it gives me a world that we're coming into, whereas the world that you typically come into in Animal Crossing is, for the most part developed as much as it is, but it would be interesting to go into a world that's already been developed but then deteriorated in some way. So going into a game and then you're like, oh, there's this abandoned building, and if we work hard, we can grow our economy and turn it back into something great, and that's why we need you here. And like, it gives your character some more meaning, and it lets you feel, I guess, more as a part of their community and what they're trying to grow. So I would love that. The next thing I want to talk about is quality of life and mechanics. And Leo Locke says, online hub area like the city in City Folk, but bigger, where we can meet new players, trade items, and do activities, etc. So this idea was kind of played with in New Leaf, where we had Club Tortimer. You could essentially go to online islands and meet up to 3 different people and, play games with them and everything. And so I guess having it be in sort of a city setting, they would have to fill in like kind of the activities you could do, because in the island you could play games and stuff with people and shop and do whatever. But with the city, like, I feel like you can do more activities or be like shops with special items that are only there at that day. And I feel like they could do a lot of things to make that variety and give people like this new big world that they can go and visit. Josh McPiano says, I want our storage space in our home to have the actual picture of the item instead of a leaf or shirt icon. Like in Happy Home Designer, that menu where you could see the item before you pulled it out was amazing. And I think this is something that I feel they probably could not pull off in the previous games, just because drawing all of those little tiny sprites for every single little item would be difficult. But now they kind of have a lot of them, and you're right by pointing out that in Happy Home Designer they took the time to do that. They made little versions of everything and a little sprite that showed you exactly what the item is. And I think the Switch is capable of that for sure, to easily handle that. And yes, you turn things into leaves and put them in your pockets, but it's so hard to sort through leaves. Like, you could put a little picture on the leaf to see what it is. So I love this idea and what you could do. Anyways, there were so many things that you all said that I wish I could talk about, but this video is already pretty long, so I've got to go. But once again, please join me Saturday. That is Saturday, I think January 26th. Yes. and 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll be live with everybody all day. I'll be playing games, I'll be playing all sorts of things, and chatting with you about all of these ideas that you had. So yeah, please join. And yeah, I guess thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all next week. Bye.